If you measure the wrong things, you will improve the wrong things with your user onboarding. And for many teams, they optimize and focus on the wrong user onboarding metrics. Hi, my name is Ramley John, Managing Director here at ProductLed. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 2 important user onboarding KPIs to improve your onboarding experience. Now, why is it important to track the right things? Google Maps can be quite a marvel. Vast majority of the time, it gets us to where we need to go without even having to think about it. We just plug in our destination and boom, we're there. So many of us have become so reliant on it that when it fails, everything goes wrong. And I experienced this firsthand with my wife, Joanna, on a road trip from Toronto to Montreal. I'm familiar with the streets of Montreal. I relied heavily on Google Maps to find our hotel. And lo and behold, my phone lost signal after exiting an underground tunnel. And I received that unbearable, scary error message.
GPS lost signal.
We ended up driving over a bridge that led us to the US-Canada border. It's not so bad if we both had our Canadian passports, but we didn't. Immediately, we both started freaking out. How are we supposed to explain to the Canadian border agent that we're not illegal immigrants trying to sneak into the United States of America, also known as the land of the free? Of course, we both completely overreacted. The Canadian Border Service Agency officer that we spoke to was very understanding. After showing him our Ontario driver's license and explaining that Google Maps failed us, he laughed it off. All we had to do was just exit a ramp that led us back to where we needed to go. This is a harmless story where not knowing your destination can lead you down the wrong path. But it doesn't always end well, especially with the cross-functional, highly visible effort of improving your user onboarding. By now, you should have a clear picture of what your users' desired outcomes are. If you're not, check out this video where I talk about functional, emotional, and social jobs that your users are hiring your product for. You should also know in that video the 4 progress-making forces that influence the decision to adopt or drop product. The next step is to define what success looks like for your user onboarding experience. And there are 2 key moments that matter the most to measure onboarding success. First is when users experience the value of a product for the very first time. And second, when they begin to use it consistently. These 2 success criteria are tied to key milestones in the onboarding experience: the moment of value experience and the moment of value adoption. First success criteria is the first strike. The first onboarding success criteria is helping users achieve their desired outcome or customer job as quickly as possible. In West Bush Bowling Alley framework, this event is called the first strike. In 10-pin bowling, this happens when all 10 pins are knocked down with a bowling ball. In user onboarding, the first strike is a necessary product action that users must have to take to accomplish their desired outcome or customer job. And let me give you some examples with this. Now, for Canva, a design tool, it's exporting or sharing a finalized design. For Zoom, it's hosting or attending a Zoom meeting. E-commerce stores, it's the first purchase of a product. For some companies, this first strike isn't so obvious though. Think about Facebook. What's the first strike? Is it user liking, sharing, or commenting on a post? Since those actions require users to have a few Facebook friends, the most important product action is to add a friend. That's why Facebook prompts new users to connect with friends as quickly as possible in the onboarding experience. This happens really early on, right after you sign up. Now, for all-in-one products that solve many problems, recognizing the first strike is even more tricky. Imagine identifying the first strike for a Swiss Army knife. Is it a knife? Is it a pen? Is it a screwdriver? Is it a compass, scissors, saw blade, fire starter, or laser pointer? Many all-in-one B2B SaaS products can essentially be considered digital Swiss Army knives. So how do you determine the first strike in these cases? This is where context and segment matters. Depending on the context of use and the segment, there could be different first strikes. For example, users can accomplish a lot with intercom. You can, first of all, guide customers through the first steps as well as highlight what's new with product tours. Second, you can build mobile carousels to onboard new app users. Third, you can create smart bots to qualify visitors on a website. Fourth, you can connect with website visitors and answer the questions in real time. Fifth, you can manage customer support requests and questions. So what is Intercom's first strike? It's hard to decipher at first glance, but by segmenting Intercom's users, you learn that users hire Intercom for 3 core customer jobs, all aligning with their 3 product lines. First is the conversational support product, which helps companies provide human, self-serve, and proactive support to increase customer satisfaction. A possible first strike for this customer job is the first time users respond to and resolve a customer request. Second is the conversational engagement product, which helps companies increase the engagement and product adoption with targeted in-app and outbound messages. A possible first strike for this customer job is the first time users respond to an in-app or outbound message. The third product is the conversational marketing product, which helps companies acquire new customers quicker by responding to questions from prospects in real time. A possible first strike for this customer job is the first time users respond to a question from a website visitor. As you can see, the first strike is closely tied to your product's customer job or jobs for more complex products. It's the first measure of success that users are on the right track. Success criteria number 2, the product adoption indicator. The second measure of success is the moment that users start using a product consistently. One of the end goals of onboarding is to help users embrace new habits with a product. Habit forming user onboarding requires users to experience the value of a product more than once. If users have used a product enough times, they're more likely to continue with it going forward. For Slack, team is not successfully onboarded until they've sent not 1, not 10, but 2,000 messages. It's at this threshold where they found the teams who are likely to continue using it. Since this onboarding success metric is a leading indicator of user retention and product adoption, I call this the product adoption indicator, or PAI for short. It's an early but strong signal that users are likely to continue using a product going forward. They've embraced the product and are very likely to return to your product over and over again. This concept is not new. Others call this the magic number. Here are some well-known examples. At Facebook, users who add 7 friends in 10 days are more likely to continue using it. In the early days of Twitter, the rule users who followed 30 people was a retention and growth driver. At Dropbox, users who added a file in one Dropbox folder on one device were more likely to add more files to their Dropbox. Notice that the PAIs for each of these products are closely tied to retention. Once user reach this point, you've set them up for success and they're now ready to take the next step in the product's customer journey. They've completed the initial loop of the onboarding process. They've perceived, experienced, and adopted your product for the first time. Good PAIs have a few common characteristics. First, PAIs should be leading indicators of user retention. The PAIs is the onboarding team's canary in the coal mine, which means it provides early warning signs for miners of dangerous gases in coal mines. The PAIs you can predict with some confidence early on the likelihood of users sticking around to continue using a product. In other words, they're a strong signal that users have started forming a habit of using the product. Second, PAIs should be focused on the repetition of one key product engagement action. One of the goals of user onboarding is to help users build habits using a product. Since repetition is key for building habits, users need to use the product a few times before it finally clicks for them. The PAI is tied to the product's desired outcome or customer job. In other words, when a team has sent 2,000 Slack messages. Third is PAI should be easy to understand and communicate with others. PAI should be simple enough to remember and communicate with the entire company. Facebook employees talked about nothing else but 7 friends in 10 days. It was their single sole focus. Instead of layering several user actions into the PAI, such as the number of likes, comments, and status updates, the company emphasized the simplicity so it's easy to remember and share within the entire organization. If you want to figure out your PAI, I provided our 5-step process to do that. Just go to productled.com/PAI to get the guide. Well, that's it for now. Before I leave, I want to remind you that this content is an excerpt from the upcoming book that I've written with Wes Bush called Eureka, How to Onboard New Users and Turn Them into Lifelong Customers. You can download the first chapter for free and join the waitlist now at eurekaframework.com. If you found this video valuable and insightful, kindly share it with your colleague. Don't forget to also subscribe so you don't miss out on insightful and useful videos that will help grow your business faster with product-led growth. That's all for this video. This is Ramley John, Managing Director at ProductLed. Happy growing and see you in the next video.